be teaching you how to draw and color Mulan. We are going to be using the GenCrafts watercolor paint set today to paint an animated Mulan in the new live-action outfits. What you'll need are watercolor paper, brushes, a towel or paper towels, a watercolor palette, a cup for water, a brush pen for inking, and GenCrafts watercolor paints. First, draw a circle for the head. I add a midline for the facial features. Next, draw the center line. This represents her neck as well as the center of her body. I draw an ellipse in the center to represent her torso. Afterwards, I draw another circle for her pelvis and curved lines for her arms and legs. Now, connect the torso and pelvis line together. I also add another pair of lines to the arms and legs to add volume. The thigh tapers into the knee, and for the calf, I make kind of a diamond shape. I use a triangle and a diamond shape for her feet. Lastly, I grab a ruler and make the sword that will be in her hand. Now that we have the base figure down, let's move on to the outfit. In the live action outfit, the red robe crosses over in the front and continues down to her knees. In the middle, there is a brown belt. On top of the bottom half of the robe, there's armor that I simplified by creating rectangles along the edge of the robe. Moving on to her face, I used reference for the animated Mulan. I gave her almond eyes, her nose, and mouth. I also used reference to draw her hair, but extended it to make it look similar to the live-action Mulan. Starting with the skin, grab the color beige. Apply it to her face, neck, and hand. Most of Mulan is actually covered, so we don't need a lot of this color. For her red robe, mix the colors scarlet and crimson together to create the right shade of red. Scarlet is more pink, whereas crimson is more orange, so mixing them together made the right shade for her robe. Before applying the hair color in black, make sure the skin is dried completely. You don't want it to bleed into the skin. For the armor, I used gray. I colored the entire armor piece first, but later we will be adding some details when this layer dries. As for her boots, I used the color dark brown. Now that the armor is dried, grab your brush and mix a little gray with the black to create a slightly darker version. Then, create vertical lines with a flat brush to represent the little plates in her armor. Lastly, I add some of the color Dijon on the handle of the sword and gray to the blade. Now that the paint is completely dry, we can start the inking. I think brush pens work best for these watercolors. To add more interest, add variance in pressure to certain parts. And that's it. Feel free to add more details to your completed Mulan.